Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a look behind the scenes at how Disneyland transforms a land for the holidays, the new Magic Key calendar released.
A popular attraction is getting its first refurbishment. Guests can send letters to Santa Cars in Cars Land. We talk about a little-known version of Tomorrowland that never was, and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Ahoy there, Weekly Tears! For your safety, remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast. And watch your children. And no flash pictures. Prepare to make sail!
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of December 17th, 2025. I'm Teg Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to thank everyone who supports the show, but this week we would like to give a special shout out to Knox W., Ray A., Matthew J., and Andrew G. for your continued support. If you would like to help support the show to get ad-free versions of each episode, plus fun access to our supporter-only chat, and all sorts of other crazy fun perks, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra! Read all about it! DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
The Disney Parks YouTube channel is at it again with a new glimpse behind the curtain to show what it takes to get Cars Land ready for the holidays. In the latest Disney Unscripted episode, they follow the crew that transforms the land from Halloween to Christmas overnight. From warehouse to park and all the work to get completed in one night before the guests show up in the morning, this video has it all.
I am loving these. I think they're calling, Disney Unscripted. This is the second one now that I've watched. The first one I watched was actually like a behind the scenes for the new Hercules show at the Disney Destiny, like the rehearsals and them kind of like getting everything together. This is like an unedited feeling peek behind the curtain, if you will. So like with the Transforming Cars Land from Halloween to the holidays video, you just like feel like you're almost like a fly on the wall watching them do their stuff, because there's not a lot of extra, like, it's not like tons of interviews and like people talking over like the montage of people doing the work. No, it's just like them doing the work, them having their real conversations and all that kind of stuff. So it was really, really fascinating. And it's so impressive to see what who the team is, how many people make up the team to make these transitions happen, and just nerdy things like how they store all of the different things that they swap out.
They were in that warehouse that you saw.
I know.
I'm pretty certain.
I know. I was laughing because they're like at an undisclosed location.
I'm like, it's disclosed to us. We know where it is.
We accidentally peeked in. We know. We saw it. But I just thought that was funny.
I thought this one was great. I actually saw a few days before this, I saw the one, it got recommended to me on YouTube. They have one that was a Disney Unscripted from Disney World, which was installing the 20 Disney World Christmas trees in one night. And so like they went through...
In one night?
Well, they say one night, but like the tree gets installed in one night, but like they're not...
It's not all
I don't think they were doing it all in one. Anyway, it was interesting though, because they showed like there's some stuff that I was like, ooh, I wonder if Disneyland's tree area is like this. So in Magic Kingdom and over by the Contemporary and in Animal Kingdom, they actually have a giant metal hole in the ground that the tree like fits into that gets covered up by everything beforehand. So I was like, I wonder if Disneyland does that. So super interesting. Although I feel like maybe it has to be a little bit more oomphy in Florida because they might have like hurricane winds and stuff like that. But yeah, no, this thing in Cars Land was super cool. It was neat to see the team. One of the neat things too was they had when they were putting up some of the decorations, they had kind of a little oopsie moment of like, oh, that doesn't fit right, or that's not the right measurement. And so they kind of show like how they go about making sure they get that. Also, I'm a little tempted. I'm a very bad person. I'm very tempted to go up to the Cars Land sign and pull the little thing down to see the little clamps. Because I was like, I
was kind of impressed by that.
Yeah.
It's just a banner.
Yeah. But it's new.
Sorry. Magic spoiler.
It's new, like in the last year. Yeah. So
I thought that was smart. Whoever
came up with that idea.
It did seem very tedious to like get it to line up perfectly
and get stretched.
Get it clamped down into place, and then make sure that there's no, wrinkles or anything, so that it doesn't look like it's a banner. It looks like an actual billboard. I don't know. The whole thing was magical as all get out, though. Like to the point of they would hang a garland and they go, "Oh no, this needs to be centered with that, and that needs, so the level of detail in them putting these things up, and they're putting these things up quickly, and it seemed like maybe some of the people on the crew, while they were filming, this was their first time doing the holiday installation, while other people were seasoned pros.
Right.
And just simple things like, oh no, we want there was, I think it's above Ramones, there's like Christmas trees above Ramones that have wrenches as like the star on the top, and they thought that it faced this way, but it was supposed to face the other way. They're like, oh no, we want the wrenches facing out with the lights behind it, so that, this whole, like, all of the tiny little details that the average guest will never even realize.
Yeah.
There was so much intent behind, was just wild. What did you think of, I thought of you at this part, the trees, how they have like programs, lights for the trees?
I was going to mention that was so two things that I enjoyed. So like, I love magic spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, the less magical thing was I enjoyed that, like, they put the little snowman car.
Oh yeah.
That's just forklifted in place, and then they screw the side panels on.
Yeah.
But like in the moment, I'm like, I've never paid attention that there were like screw holes.
Right.
And then, of course, like what Teresa was saying with the trees, I was like, it seems like it's going to be an awful lot of work to take down the Halloween lights and put up Christmas. They're like, oh yeah, we put these up in the last couple of years that we could just switch the programming, and now they're the right colors. And I'm like, that is brilliant.
But what's wild is that's a recent update.
Yeah.
They used to like restring
That's
lights,
crazy.
take the lights down, restring the correct color for the season.
Yeah.
Wild. But they looked really good. I think
They
those
did.
lights might be new since we've been there, because I don't remember the lights being red and green over by Mater's.
Yeah. I mean, they were there when we were there this year for Halloween, because they're the same.
I know, but like
yeah.
the
Sure.
holiday color. So I don't know if we've seen, like, if it's that recent that it's been since we've been out there for the holidays, which we were out for the holidays. What did we just see? 23, I think, was the last time we were out there for the holidays. I'm going to have to look back at the pictures, because I'm like, that looks so cool that the trees have red and green lights in them.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you've got time, highly recommend watching this. I want to say it's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
15, 16 minutes for this Disneyland specific one. The other ones I think are about the same, but it's very cool, because like I said, it's a very unscripted and very, you feel like you're like there just kind of watching them do their thing. Of course, every once in a while somebody talks to the camera to kind of explain what's going on and what you're seeing and what they're doing, but it's not the same as what you normally expect out of these behind the curtain things, which are very, scripted, and they make sure that it's, very well put together. This
No
feels,
magic spoilers.
Yep, this feels much more relaxed.
Totally. I like it. I hope they keep doing
I do
this stuff.
too. They're more casual. It feels more real.
I am surprised that they don't put the stuff on Disney Plus, though, because it feels like it'd be something.
Maybe because they're just so short. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. Disney has posted the availability calendar for the new Explore Magic Key that we spoke about last episode. The new key will have extended availability in the summer, opening up a lot of days in June and July that the Enchant Key was blocked out for. There are some other dates that are blocked out on the new key, so take a look at that link in the show notes if you're interested in comparing the two.
So I finally am pulling up, let's see, I got the Explorer key here and the Enchant key. I wanted to put them side by side. I didn't do this earlier, but you can kind of see, so the new Explorer key, well, some of this is just not available because I think they're not selling
They
it.
don't sell, so they start selling them on the 13th.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the first day that anything's available. I'm seeing here March looks about the same, April looks about the same. May looks about the same. June is where we really start to see a difference.
June and July are definitely the big differences.
Yeah, so it looks like most Monday through Thursdays, all Monday through Thursdays through July and June are open, where they were unavailable before.
Sunday through Thursdays.
Some of them, but this the 5th is because of the 4th of July weekend. They don't have that. So, but I was saying these are always available. Yeah, and then same thing through August.
There's a little bit more availability in August because, look, you've got the 2nd open on the new key where it's blocked.
But no 30th.
Oh, look at that. We traded the 2nd for the 30th.
This is fascinating. Like, I always want to know, how do they figure this stuff out?
It looks like just the Saturdays are blocked on the new key. October is the same. November
is the same.
Same. December.
Same.
There's like 1 or 2 days maybe throughout the rest of the year total, like 1 or 2 days total that are different between the two. The biggest difference though is opening up that summer availability, which is huge. That added a ton of value to this key for sure.
Yeah, Because how much was the?
It
How
was
much was
only
the
like
enchant?
a $25 difference
Oh,
between
sure.
the two.
Well, that's a steal then.
Mhm.
Like to get all those extra days,
Mhm.
especially if you're local and in the summer.
Yeah.
Or even for like us, if we wanted to do like a summer
Yeah.
thing and we had
The
this. key.
only thing, Disney, if you're listening, the only thing I wish is that with the keys, even with these lower keys, that you could add PhotoPass. If you could pay an extra whatever and add PhotoPass to these lower keys that don't automatically come with PhotoPass. Or better yet, Disney, if you're still listening, could you just open PhotoPass for all of the Magic Key holders and just
that would
have
be
that
great.
be a perk for everyone?
That would be great.
I mean, that's such a great thing. That's like the biggest thing that I miss about having our keys. We had the last key that we had was the Believe key, which had PhotoPass.
Yeah.
And I was very sad that we couldn't just use it whenever we wanted on this last trip. I was like, oh man, I finally was getting in the habit of remembering to use it. And now we don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, you can always buy a discounted Lightning Lane multipass that comes with PhotoPass.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, the standard refurbishment for Haunted Mansion after the holiday season has an end date. January 23rd will be the return of the classic Haunted Mansion variation. Also added to the refurbishment list for the first time ever is Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. It will enter refurbishment on January 20th with no current return date.
This was wild to me that this is Mike's chat is saying that this is the first official refurbishment, because I was trying to think back. I'm like, wasn't it like with the cannons and stuff? Was it like, did they just work their magic overnight?
I feel like they took it down for like a day or something, but it wasn't
Okay.
like an extended
Got
refurbishment.
it. Okay.
But remember, like, I was trying to compare this to like Radiator Springs. Well, Radiator Springs Racers had not had a refurbishment. It was like almost 10 years before it had like a lengthy refurbishment. Like they had a
Wild.
couple days here, a couple days there. But the fact that they're doing this, I mean, there's some hope here, right? That some of the things that are constantly
Some of the bugs.
malfunctioning will get worked out or whatever.
See, but like, I don't know if we're just very fortunate, but I feel like most of our time, we've never had any weird, like, we don't even get Kylo Ren in beam mode hardly whenever, like, I've only experienced that, I think, once, maybe twice, in all of the times that we've been able to experience Star Wars Rise of the Resistance. And I can't remember for sure. One of those times may have been when we were in Walt Disney World. So we're not going to count that against Disneyland. So like the things that used to go down quite often and really impact the experience, maybe we're just really lucky. I know it still goes down frequently, and I've never been, we'll never know if that's because of silly things like somebody's hat blew off or whatever, and so they have to stop and evacuate and reset the ride, or if it's something that's actually, mechanical and something that actually has to do with the ride.
Yeah. I just like, I
You've
feel
had
like
good
I've
luck with
seen
it.
more stuff with it, but like I said, the big thing for me is I just hope that they just make it a little bit more reliable, and
Mhm.
maybe they do some things with the ride system that maybe allows it to be a little bit less finicky and
Sure.
going down more. But I would say in general, I have had pretty good luck with rarely have I tried to ride it and not been able to ride it, like after I've gotten in line when it has been open. Like I haven't gotten in line. Like there's been times I've wanted to ride it and it was down.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like rarely have I been in line and it has gone down, or I've never been on it and it's gone down. But
I can't even remember the last time we were at the park that it was down for vast majority of a day.
sure. Yeah.
Hiccups, yes. You did. There was, I don't remember which exchange students you were out there with, but you had a not great experience with trying to get back there, and it like kept, like you'd get in line and it'd break down, and then like you'd leave, and then you'd go back later that day or a different day or whatever, and like you repeatedly were having it break down while you
Yes.
were in line. That happened, but other than
That
that,
was one bad trip of like
Yeah.
every time we were like, oh, it's open, let's go back. And then it would be closed again. We're like, ugh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyways, but we're happy to see these loved rides get the TLC that they deserve so that they can keep working at peak performance.
And how about Haunted Mansion coming back? Pretty
I mean,
typical.
that's always exciting, right? Always exciting. I'm curious, though, because it seems like the last couple of times that they've done the flip, there's been new little Easter eggs that have been planted. So I'm curious if there's going to be another little Easter egg that appears. Time will tell. Time will tell.
Do you have something in particular you'd like to see
No,
appear?
nothing I can think. They're very good at being very intentional and clever with the little Easter eggs that they have put in. So I'm thinking like when Rolly Crump passed, we got the little tiny wax man candle.
There was a large version of that in the Imagineering thing behind.
We also had the bat in the vampire bat in the
and that's
cage.
There permanently.
That's there permanently. That appeared it appeared I think for the holiday overlay, and then
moved because wasn't it by the hallway at first?
Yeah, it shifted. Well, it was by where was it? It's still in the hallway. It was by the endless hallway.
Yeah,
and then it went into the hallway. It's now permanently in the hallway with all the like doors that are knocking and groaning and looking like they're breathing and whatever you call that space. Yeah. Anyway, so there's been a couple fun little things that have kind of popped up, and I like that they're Easter eggs to important and influential Imagineers that worked on the attraction. Yeah. Well, navigation around the park after nighttime spectaculars might be a little easier to see. New electronic signs have debuted that give guests directions on where to go to get to certain locations in the park. This replaces the cast members trying to kindly shout out directions or the dimly lit handheld signs that were previously used.
So this is interesting to me because the photo that you see, it's hard to tell like how bright or dim something is in a photo.
Yeah.
Because this to me, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to understand is this brought out at this time and placed here, or is this something more permanent? Like I have so many questions.
Yeah. So where this one is that my chat has a photo of, it looks like it's by Coke Corner.
Yeah.
So I would assume that this is brought out.
Yeah, but it looks very bright. And I've seen now when they first came out with like the digital weight boards, remember they were all turned up really bright too. And it was like, okay, this is at night. You can turn this down a little bit. But of course, like during the day, you want it to be brighter so you can read it. But these are only used at night. I'm interested to see how these work and if people are going to pay more attention to them. I just feel like people in general are not very good at paying attention to directions. They just want to go where they want to go.
Yeah, I'm also curious if it's like all the time or if they brought these out because they had something like this. I don't remember if it was last year, but on a recent very, very busy night, I think it was like New Year's Eve or something, they had lit LED sign screen things like this to try and help direct traffic. And we commented, I remember because we commented like, oh, they should have stuff like this more often. That might make things, more helpful. So I'm curious if this is something that's going to just be part of everyday operations, or if this is specific to the holiday season with the increased foot traffic and higher crowd volumes. Time will tell.
Yeah. Well, a fun activity is available in Cars Land. Inside of Sarge's Surplus Hut, there is a display with a red mailbox. At this mailbox, you can write a letter to Santa Car. Mater will then take everyone's letters to Santa Car to the North Pole, along with his friend, Lightning McQueen.
This is such a what a cute, fun little interactive thing that you can go do in Cars Land. And the fact that it even has that adorable little full write-up story as to what happened. Mater's going to save the day. Your letters are still going to get to Santa Car. All this whole stuff. Adorable. The fact that you've got this little mailbox that looks like it's got snow on it. The cards themselves are very cute. What does it say?
Season speedings.
See, come on. How cute. What a fun little activity.
Yeah, it's just kind of tucked away. I don't think I even would have I would have thought this was just decoration in the shop.
Sure, yeah.
And I never would have known that this was something that you would actually do. But that's really cool. So yeah, all kids of all ages, write a letter to Santa Car.
Why not? Well, a small version of It's a Small World appeared on the Disneyland Instagram this week. The video showed off a model of the classic attraction in the park in front of the full-size attraction. The video goes on to show the creation of the miniature, which features 120 individual bushes, trees, and shrubs and took over 200 hours to create. The miniature is on display in the Small World toy shop.
I had to read some comments on this because I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, the artist actually commented in there that he built it.
Oh, that's very cool.
And so he was kind of answering some people's comments. So this is, like Teresa said, is in the Small World toy shop. It's in one of the displays. And this artist is super proud that he did this. So this wasn't an Imagineer or something. This was a separate person. If you want to follow him on Instagram, he's David Miniatures, where he's done a lot of miniature stuff. So how cool.
I have, this has given me so many questions now. how did he get connected with Disney to do this? To then, because obviously, right? Like anybody could not. I'm not discrediting his work by saying this, but like you could make the model, right? But the fact that he got to then bring the model to Disneyland, it gets featured on their social media pages, and the model is now displayed at the Small World toy shop. Like, what is the story here? You know, this is so cool. I also want to give a shout out. I think it's very, very cool that one of the top comments on that was Ryan Riller, who is the paper artist that does all of those amazing hand-cut paper cutout photo. I don't even know what you want to call it, because it's like a painting, but it's all layers of. It's not origami, like it's not a paper art in that sense, but it's like layers of different paper shapes to like build out the images. They're gorgeous. But he commented on it like, hey, who's the artist? Like, to make sure, let's give the artist credit, because 100%, that is so important. But now I want to like, maybe we should reach out to this guy, because I've got so many questions.
He's made so many. I'm looking at his
so
Instagram.
Cool and detailed.
Yeah, he's done stuff for Universal. Like, I'm looking at one where he's recreated the workshop for Back to the Future from the third movie. He's created, I saw way back, he created the, unfortunately, the attraction that burnt down for Universal, that the King Kong attraction.
Oh, yeah.
There's a thing here for Hulu. He did like some TV show I haven't heard of called The Amateur, that's on Disney Plus and Hulu, to create an iconic scene from The Amateur. Oh, so he created like a model to go with it or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, we should try to reach out to this guy, because this is the stuff that he's done. This stuff looks amazing. He's such a talented miniature artist. But yeah, It's a Small World looked amazing. And
and like, okay, we'll have the link obviously for all of you to see this if you haven't already in our show notes. But watching the video and seeing, this is what's mind-boggling to me, seeing the actual It's a Small World holiday facade right behind the model version, and seamless. Like, you could take a picture of the model version and probably tell people, oh yeah, this is Disneyland. Like, they wouldn't know that was a model. It is that spot on. These are so well done.
I am in awe of this gentleman. My goodness. Some of this. Oh, he's done a Jurassic Park one.
Look at that. You know, I bet you he would have gotten the question right about how many topiaries there were in Disneyland, because he knows the ones at Small World so well.
Look at this.
I know. It's incredible.
Oh my God. Some people, I just got to say, some people,
so talented.
Amazing talent. Amazing talent. All right. Well, as we reported last week, work has finally begun on the new Porto's location in downtown Disney. Construction walls have gone up and encircled the ticket booths on the Disney California Adventure side of the West Esplanade. This is a great sign of progress. In another area that was slow to redevelopment has been the old ESPN building, which now has signage up for Lululemon. The old Tortilla Joe's location, which has been sitting stagnant since demo finished in the summer, is still happening, but waiting on permits with the city to continue. Construction here should hopefully resume soon.
It's just so wild to me, because I felt like we were reporting on downtown Disney construction for a very long time when they were revamping the new entrance, and now where all of the different like D-Lander shops and like down by the Disneyland hotel side of things where the entertainment stage,
the western side, yeah,
all that stuff. Felt like we were reporting on construction for quite a while, and now that's wrapped up and it's amazing and it's beautiful and we really enjoy the spaces there. Now it seems like there's kind of other things spattered throughout. Oh, same thing with what SnackChat is. Jazz Kitchen, we were kind of watching and reporting on that. That's all, that feels like old news at this point. So it's interesting to watch downtown Disney kind of transform in stages like this, but it's still fully functional. So even though it's just been constant construction, you can still enjoy downtown Disney, and you still have places to eat, places to watch different entertainment, and of course buy things.
Of course, the most important thing.
It's just kind of, it's weird. Like, as you were reading that, it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, wow, feels like we've been talking about downtown Disney construction for years.
We have been. we have been. Oh. I want them to finish it up, though, because I feel like some of these projects on the face of them seem like they should be things that were easily, should have been completed in this time frame by now. but have not been. So I'm looking forward to, we just talked a few episodes ago about how Disneyland finally had everything out from refurbishment and everything was up and nothing was down. I'm looking for that for Downtown Disney, where like everything's open, everything's fresh and clean and wonderful, and there's no construction walls or projects that are working or anything like that. I'm looking forward to Earl of Sandwich getting out of its trailer and into its new home and all of that stuff. So we can all hope.
All right, people, serious question time. Did you know that driving high is considered driving under the influence? That's right. Driving under the influence of marijuana is against the law in every state. That means even in states where marijuana is legal. That means driving high could get you a DUI. And if you think law enforcement officers can't tell when you're driving high, well, you're wrong. If you're high, they can tell. Your friends can tell. Your coworkers can tell. Even your parents can tell. Everyone can tell. So what makes you think that law enforcement officers don't know when you're driving high? You'd be wrong. They can tell too. Driving under the influence of marijuana can slow your response time and change how you perceive time and speed. So even if you think you're fine to drive when you're high, you're not. Because the bottom line is, if you feel different, you drive different, and driving high is driving under the influence. So remember, drive high, get a DUI. Paid for by NHTSA.
We have to get the snacks for Tag and Teresa and James and Bern. Oh, and Cinderella. Time for SnackChat.
Well, speaking of Downtown Disney, we're going to wrap up with our snack chat. We've almost, not really, but kind of metaphorically eaten our way through Downtown Disney while enjoying all of the different menu offerings that each of these locations have to offer. We have now made it to, funny enough, we just talked about this in the last story, the Jazz Kitchen, the newly refurbished Jazz Kitchen, Coastal Grill and Patio.
I know this is really dumb, but I didn't realize until I was putting this together that they've, I was like, they've changed the name from Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen to Jazz Kitchen, Coastal Grill and Patio, which explains kind of the visual style change, I guess.
Yes, the visual style change, some of the menu changes.
So some of the starters you can get at the Jazz Kitchen. We will talk about the Beignets Expressed, and we will talk about, there's another location that's smaller around this area. We'll talk about that next time. But for now, to start here, we have crab beignets. What?
Yeah, that was as soon as
savory crab beignets on a bed of lemon aioli.
We need to try this. I can't. I'm so curious about this. I'm so curious.
I'm just going to look up because I want to see what these look like, because I'm sure somebody's taken a picture.
There's also
Yelp.
boudin balls, which is slow roasted pork, dirty rice, crispy panko herb crust, Creole mustard aioli, house-made pepper jelly. I'm curious. Oh, okay. I know if you go back and we were talking, which, I mean, I still feel this way. I'm still very sad that they stripped away the over-the-top theming that was Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. Yeah. I really, really thought that was such a fun, unique theme space, and that it just made total sense, like at a Disney location, right? So when they stripped away and it was kind of has a lack of theming now, it still makes me sad. But this menu has got my interest peaked a little bit here, and we're only in the starters.
Yeah. So I found a picture here. They look more like, not like beignet. I would think that they look more like round crab cakes.
Like a fried crab cake.
Yeah, like a fried crab cake.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So what have you talked about? Just the boudin balls?
I just went to the boudin balls because I was very concerned. Very curious about that one, too.
Well, you were concerned about that food there. Yeah. You could also get some things that are pretty self-explanatory, like loaded tots, crispy calamari, a southern garlic cheese bread. Oh, it's focaccia.
Focaccia, fresh mozzarella, torn basil, and roasted garlic.
Ooh.
And then there's fried shrimp lettuce wraps.
They have soups and salads. Of course, they have a gumbo yaya, which is andouille sausage, roasted chicken, Trinity, simmered with Creole seasonings in a rich, dark roux thickened broth, served over green onion rice.
There's a French Quarter salad, market greens, candied pecans, cherry tomatoes, and an apple cider vinaigrette. There's also a Creole Caesar salad, which is romaine, shaved Asiago, garlicky brioche croutons with a homemade Caesar dressing.
There's also a blue crab caprese salad, which is fresh mozzarella cheese, blue crab and heirloom tomato salad, tri-colored roasted peppers, pesto vinaigrette, and a honey balsamic drizzle. If you only liked seafood, I feel like that blue crab caprese would be up your alley.
Under today's mains, so I'm assuming it confuses me that it's today's mains. Like,
I think that's just what they call their main section.
But to me, that makes me feel like they change.
Sure.
But anyway,
so as of right now,
as of today's mains there's a Creole pasta jambalaya, which is a Jazz Kitchen signature, Gulf shrimp, andouille sausage, roasted chicken, Creole seasoning with spinach fettuccine. Also, coconut crusted Gulf shrimp, pineapple scented rice, chili garlic spiced broccolini, and mango beurre blanc.
There's a fried chicken BLT po' boy, which is applewood smoked bacon, baby arugula, Roma tomatoes, pickled red onion, cilantro lime crema, and a chipotle drizzle, and jalapeno bacon potato salad. Ooh, I don't like jalapeno, but a bacon potato salad sounds great. There's also a Nola barbecue Gulf shrimp and grits, which has simmered in a New Orleans barbecue sauce with roasted garlic, lemon, Worcestershire, Creole seasonings, andouille sausage, Parmesan grits, and blistered cherry tomatoes.
There's an Asiago crusted chicken, which is, you guessed it, an Asiago crusted chicken breast, pesto, twice baked potato, roasted tomato, shallot, white wine pan sauce.
What is a pesto twice baked potato? That sounds good. They have a blackened salmon and a Bayou bacon smash burger. So on the Bayou bacon smash burger, it's an aged cheddar, caramelized onions, zesty pickles, Thousand Island dressing, toasted brioche bun, and French fries.
You can get some shrimp and dumplings, which are Gulf shrimp, potato gnocchi, oven roasted tomatoes, pesto cream sauce, shaved Asiago cheese. And there's also a spicy grilled chicken macaroni and cheese bowl, which is made with penne, gooey smoked Gouda cheese sauce, roasted broccolini, roasted cherry tomatoes, applewood smoked bacon, and brioche breadcrumbs.
This all sounds so good. They've got a grilled chicken Caesar, a green goddess salad, and pan-fried crab cakes. And finally, grilled medallions of filet mignon, which come with crispy Brabant potatoes tossed with onions, seasonal vegetables, and a Zinfandel reduction.
Look at that. Refit and beefit. Add crab meat at an additional cost.
Jeez. Sounds like they're surf and turf.
Yeah, forget surf and turf. We have reef and beef. Refit and beef it.
What are some sides?
So for your sides, you can choose between andouille Parmesan grits, rice, small sautéed Gulf shrimp, seasonal vegetables, French fries, and French bread with butter.
For the kids' menu, they got a penne pasta with meatballs, a grilled medallion of filet mignon, a crispy chicken tenders, a Jazz Kitchen smash burger, and a grilled Gulf shrimp. So something for everybody. So adventurous kids and not so adventurous kids.
So desserts, you've got all sorts of different beignets, including classic beignets, but there's also banana Foster glazed beignets. That sounds delightful. Banana rum icing, cinnamon sugar dust caramel drizzle, vanilla bean creme anglaise, and you get 4 in an order. For those, you get 5 for your classic beignets. Yum. Yum, yum. Oh,
where do you see?
Look at this.
Over here.
There's also a beignet quartet. You can sample 4 glazed beignets sachets. So there's one of that banana Foster. There's a strawberry beignet, a churro beignet, and then a glazed beignet.
Wow. There's an Abita root beer float, a New Orleans root beer made with cane sugar, topped with a generous scoop of vanilla bean ice cream. There's also a double chocolate bread pudding, which is a semi-sweet chocolate, white and dark chocolate ganache. A la mode for an additional cost. Please allow 25 minutes to prepare. So this must be fresh.
Ooh. There's all sorts of different specialty cocktails, including old fashions, hurricanes, Sazerac. They have a celebration special for the 70th, a Louisiana lemonade, different beers, wine by the glass.
They have craft sodas.
Look at that. There's also 0-proof elixirs, so you can have like a blackberry ginger smash. That sounds good. Fresh blackberries, Fever Tree ginger beer, mint simple syrup. Yum. Strawberry nojito. Cajun sunrise. That sounds interesting too. Pineapple lime juice, Sprite, Cajun season rim.
They have a Pretty in Pink, which is a strawberry, coconut, pineapple, and lime juice, and a Arancia Refresher, which is Lyre's Italian Spritz, simple syrup, and soda. For the craft sodas, they have an Abita root beer, Hank's Wishniak black cherry soda, and a Hank's premium orange cream soda.
Look at that. Or if you're feeling real adventurous, they've got Coke products.
Right.
But yeah, Jazz Kitchen might not be as fun and themed, but it does sound like the menu has... There was a couple of things. Now, I will be the first to admit that we did not go to Jazz Kitchen super frequently before. We had gone a couple of times. There was a couple of things on that menu though that sounded familiar. Like they may have been on the old menu and they're now on the new menu. Definitely a lot of things that are new sounding. Well, at least new to me sounding, but sounds like there's still some good eats at the Jazz Kitchen.
And we've never heard anything bad about any of the beignets from there. So if you want a beignet, that's where you got to go. Well, we have talked so much about our great experiences staying at the Howard Johnson Anaheim. Well, we have partnered with them, and right now they are running a special deal with up to 40% off select dates, plus a free Baby Shark cuddle pillow on qualifying stays of 4 nights or more. To take advantage of this deal, visit the link in our show notes. If you're listening to this and that has expired, because sometimes people don't listen to the episode right away, you can always get 15% off your stay. To take advantage of the discount, head on over to our website, DLWeekly.net, and click on the Howard Johnson logo, and that will take you right there.
You come seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place, but keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
Welcome to Trivia Land, where we've got some awesome questions all lined up for us, and it's going to be very thematic with the time of the year and the holidays. And I'm wondering, are you feeling the holidays magic and the spirit?
Of course, it's that time of year. I'll tell you one thing I'm really enjoying right now is driving around and seeing everybody's Christmas lights. That has nothing to do with trivia, but it is still nice.
Yes, it is.
Don't give him ideas. He's going to start asking how many lights are on the different trees.
Well, he's asked something like that before.
We have had that question before, and I assume that you would have that question memorized already. So I'm not going to bring that one back. So, all right, quick little side note before we
are consumed in a day.
My goodness.
We have done how many peppermints or how many candy canes are made a day. That was a question a couple years ago. So I'm not bringing that one back because, of course, you have that memorized.
Well, the sad thing is, Vern, we went on didn't we go on the holiday tour that gave us all types of info? And we promptly forgot all of it.
We did. Like, literally after the tour was done, we were like, man, we should have been taking notes. That was a lot of really good information.
It was.
There was one thing that I was trying to commit to memory, and it was the temperature inside of the candy room while they were making the candy canes. Because it was some ridiculously.
It was like 110 or something?
Very, very. No, I think it was hotter than that.
Oh, I'm sure it's very warm and humid, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it could be more than 100. Like, if you make it hotter than 110, I feel like people will start boiling in there. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Wow, yeah. All right. So, quick side note for the listeners. You know, every listener that submits questions, we love you, we value you. Thank you so much for your contribution to the show. But sometimes, listeners, if you send things out of season, we have to sit on them for a little while.
Oh, sure.
So,
they've been
had
marinating.
a listener that submitted some Christmas questions after last Christmas. So tonight is going to be...
They were inspired.
And yes, and we always appreciate our listeners, and we always try to get around to your questions as soon as we are able to. So tonight's questions are either from or inspired by listener Donna S.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Donna S.
Thank you so much for your patience, Donna S. I am getting around to your questions. And listeners, if you have submitted questions and we haven't gotten around to asking your question, please be patient. We have them in our archives and we are getting to them. So, without further ado, let's get into tonight's questions. First question tonight. While not a standalone event, there was a holiday parade in the first year of Disneyland being open, 1955. In what part of the park was this parade?
It's got to be like Main Street Town Square.
Well, see, the question is, like, is it misleading? Like, it sounds like he's maybe trying to get us to say something that's not Main Street, but when really maybe it is Main Street.
I'm going Main Street Town Square.
I'm going to say the first year you said, Vern, right?
December 1955.
It's got to be Main Street and the hub in Town Square.
Okay, now this is going to be a ridiculous question. Don't laugh at me. It was within the bounds, the berm of Disneyland, yes?
I am not going to definitively answer yes or no to that.
Man.
I'm just going to stick with the obvious.
I asked that question because there was a tickle in my brain that it was someplace strange. Like maybe it was like in the parking lot or like in front of the entrance gates, or like that it was in a not typical parade place. But I don't know what that place is, so I'm just going to stick with Main Street Town Square.
Well, I'm thinking about, too, like, what was the parade route when the park opened? Because, like, It's a Small World and stuff wasn't there. So, like, where did the parade go?
Yeah.
Like, opening day had a parade. Like, where did that parade go? Did they just go to the different lands?
Do you think they just used the two, like, they started in Town Square, went up Main Street, went around the hub, and then came back down?
No.
No?
Well, because the parade's longer than what'll fit around the hub.
Currently.
No, but I mean, even the opening day parade had like marching bands and the Autopia cars and all that stuff. But I don't know how long the Christmas one was. But I'm just going to stick with Main Street and like Town Square Hub.
Yeah, I don't have a better answer, but I don't think that's right.
Okay.
All right. So Tag is saying Main Street /Hub, and Teresa's saying Town Square.
Oh, you're not doing?
No, I'm doing
Hub?
Town Square, Main Street, Hub.
Oh, all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All of what you would consider Main Street, USA.
Sure. All righty.
And Teresa, you're saying Main Street and Town Square or just Town Square?
Well, like, yeah, because you made a good point, because my thought was, like, at most it would have been the two things, but then it would have had to turn around somewhere. I don't know. I'm just going to say Main Street proper.
Okay.
Okay, so no more Town Square, just Main Street proper.
Yes.
All righty. Your second question. What year was the first official Christmas parade in Disneyland?
Did you not just say 1955?
No. He said it wasn't like
it was not a standalone event, but there was a holiday parade in 1955.
Yeah. Oh.
But the first official Christmas parade, quote unquote, was in what year? And what was the name of this parade?
Oh, geez.
It was 1956, and it was a Christmas fantasy parade. Yes, that's right. It's been the same parade for...
I mean, it feels like it's been the same parade for that whole time.
It's been that parade for...
a long time.
Vast majority, it feels like.
I heard of the... No, I think when I looked this up, it was like in the 90s.
Really?
No, of Christmas Fantasy.
Oh, I thought you meant the first
No.
parade.
A Christmas Fantasy, I think, like started in the 90s, but it feels like so much more. Oh, gosh, is it in the... It's got to be in the 50s, right?
It's got to be in the 50s or early 60s. It has to be.
I'm going to say 1957 because that's the first number that came to my brain. And what was it called?
What was the name of this parade?
I don't know. Christmas at Disneyland. I don't know.
Did they do like a Babes in Toyland themed parade?
Okay, well then that could be your
I'm
answer.
just wondering.
They did something with Babes in Toyland,
Yeah.
but is that a Christmas parade?
I mean, that's another good question. Maybe that was that first parade that wasn't technically. Anyways, okay. So, okay. I was feeling 56, 57 as well, so maybe I should do... I'll get in line with your parade and do 57.
57, okay.
And I'm just going to call it, like, Walt Disney's Christmas Parade.
Okay.
All right. So both of you landed on 1957, and Tag said Christmas in Disneyland, and Teresa said Walt's Christmas Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Your third regular round question tonight. What year did the Christmas Carolers first perform at Disneyland?
Christmas Carolers.
Christmas Carolers.
I'm going to say 1955.
I'm going to say 1958 because something about that number popped in my head. All these numbers just keep popping in my head, and I have no good reason why.
All right. So Teresa's saying 55, and Tag thinks 58.
It's going to be like 56 or 7.
No, it's going to be like 1972.
Oh, well, that's true.
So we're going to be way off.
Yeah.
I feel like we probably got to get out of the 50s because...
Probably. We'll find out, right?
There's more.
And your fourth and final regular round question. Where were the first Christmas trees placed in Disneyland? Specific location, please.
Oh, I think that these were in the moat. Like, they used to put trees in the moat.
Yes. Were those the first ones?
I don't know, but they used to put them in the
I
moat.
do remember seeing photos of that. Yeah,
because there was like 2 on each side or something. It felt like in my memory.
yeah. I remember. I feel like I've seen photos of that.
You know what's interesting? Before, they've always put the Christmas tree in Town Square, right? Like the big one.
I would think so.
Because I feel like before Partners was put there, that would be a great place for the tree, right? Like right in the middle of the park.
But then you're
blocking the
you're
castle.
blocking the castle, though.
Can't be blocking the castle.
There, we'll say that. I'm going to say Town Square.
You think Town Square is
and
where
the
it's been?
castle.
Oh, and the castle?
Yeah, those are the first places.
Oh, sure. I'm just going to say in the moat.
I don't know what you call it. Yeah,
the moat.
I guess the moat.
All right.
I'm really intrigued to hear our answers to this, though. So I'm excited.
Like the
about
real
that.
answers? Not
Yeah.
our...
No, I'm excited to see what the real. Yeah.
So Tag thinks they put all the trees in the moat, and Teresa says the Town Square and the castle.
Like the same thing, like in the moat, like in front of the castle. They're in
Sure.
the water.
Okay. And your bonus question tonight. Chosen by Walt Disney himself for its festive impact, the iconic flocked Christmas tree on Main Street first appeared in what year?
Oh, gosh. This goes along with.
Well, it was chosen by Walt Disney, so that's narrowed our time frame down.
And I'll give you a hint. You said you wanted to get out of the 50s.
Okay, so sometime in the 60s. 64.
I'm going to say
Nope,
1960.
You're going 60?
Well, it's been 5 years. Like, you'd think by then he would have had it all set. I don't know. Traditions are hard because, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
1960 is what I'm going to say, Vern.
1960 from Tag.
And I've said 4, but then I backslid to 2. 1962.
1962 from Teresa. All right. Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? If you stick around until after the discussion, we can all find out together.
Well, for this week's topic, I'm going to be real honest. This one might feel like it's coming out of left field, but it is so stinking fascinating. We came across an article on The Laughing Place, which, of course, as you all know, we'll have linked in the show notes. But it was talking about Star Wars in Tomorrowland and what could have been, what some of the thought process were prior to Galaxy's Edge even being in the picture, and how things could have turned out much, much differently. This all stems from the new art book, Doug Chiang, The Cinematic Legacy. And basically within this book is all sorts of photos, pictures, drawings, concept arts, whatever you want to call it, of what a Star Wars re-theme of Tomorrowland could have looked like. I want to say the first time that we I've heard this before, that prior to Galaxy's Edge, that was the thought process, was that Star Wars was going to kind of take over and engulf Tomorrowland.
Yeah. I mein, I still think even to today, people think that that's what should have happened.
It's interesting. And like this kind of goes into like some of the specifics, because even in these different artworks and stuff, there's things that are familiar, things that are new, of course. So it's really interesting to kind of see those two worlds kind of collide and kind of overlap. So we're just kind of gonna have a more casual kind of discussion about what could have been if Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, if Batuu never was.
Yeah. So one of the things to kind of talk about where we are today a little bit, some of the ideas we're going to talk about, I think ended up in other Disney parks around the world.
Sure.
So like in Disneyland Paris, when we were there, in their Tomorrowland outside of Star Tours, some of the concept art, again, if you go look at the link in our show notes, some of the concept art of stuff that they would have done with Tomorrowland is put like Star Wars ships up on buildings. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple buildings in Paris that have like an X-Wing on top of it or have like these different ships up there.
Oh, sure.
So I think that like some of these things that were concept here did eventually make it into a park somewhere in kind of a different way. Mm-hmm. And also just in Tomorrowland. I don't think any of us necessarily disagree that Tomorrowland could definitely use some TLC. And if there wasn't Galaxy's Edge, that this would have been a good backup plan, I guess, of some of this. So Doug Chiang worked as Senior Vice President and Executive Design Director at Lucasfilm, and he was integral to the design of what ended up being Galaxy's Edge, as well as its earlier iterations like before that. And then these are some of his drawings.
Super interesting. So yeah, so kind of, I don't know if this person again, we should have this person on the show. And I'm just so curious because we like kind of stumbled across this. I'm like, Tag, look at these artworks, look at these things. I'm curious if the person that picked this book up was expecting to find some of this concept art of Disneyland specifically in this book, or if this was kind of like a like like they were just going through and it was in there. I don't know for sure. I don't know if I would have expected or had the knowledge to know that a book by Doug would have potentially included some of that stuff, because some of this stuff, especially concept art for things that never come to be, Disney kind of keeps that like close, because I think it was in one of the Imagineering stories or one of the behind the scene things that Disney has been doing recently, they kind of talk about how nothing's ever really put like away fully. Like, it might not be the right time for it now, but that doesn't mean that it won't be the right time for the thing later.
Bob Weiss's book talked about that too.
Yeah. So maybe that's where I got it from.
Well, I think they've talked about it, like you said. I think it's been on a lot of things.
So usually this stuff doesn't ever kind of like resurface, especially something like this, because this is much more recent. So to me, this was kind of surprising to see this, and then to also see the volume of how many things were shared, which is absolutely amazing. But
also, Doug Chang, just so we know who this person is, you have seen him talk about Star Wars stuff. Like, when I looked up photos of him, I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen him talk about stuff on Lucas. I think in Light and Magic, the show that's on Disney Plus about ILM. I think he was in that. I've seen him talk on like everywhere. I feel like I've seen him in the Imagineering story. I think they talked to him about Galaxy's Edge. So, like, if you go look at a picture of him and you know anything about Imagineering and or Star Wars or Lucasfilm, you will recognize Doug for sure. So what were you going to talk about with the concepts?
I just find them absolutely fascinating, because apparently, it had kind of been like we had talked about before. I think even maybe when we had Philander, we were talking about how Star Wars was going to become a thing in like a bigger thing in Tomorrowland and kind of take over Tomorrowland, if you will. So it's just fascinating to see what, like, to actually see images of what that could have looked like. So in this book, Chang talks about the challenge that he was kind of faced with transforming the buildings, like the buildings that are in Tomorrowland, and kind of using the footprint that is Tomorrowland, because the thought was not to bulldoze Tomorrowland and start over again. It was more of like a retheme. So think of just like plussing what was already there.
Think of like the 1997 retheme of Tomorrowland, where they just repainted everything.
No, not quite. A little more intense than that. Maybe like the Fantasyland one, when they did the Fantasyland reboot retheme.
Yeah,
they didn't completely
new facades and stuff.
They
but
didn't like knock everything down. They used the same bones and structures, which had to have been very interesting, because he's coming from a world where he gets to design and create and build from nothing. So then to have to kind of have that additional challenge of looking at what's still at the parks, how can we use this differently? What are things that we can add to kind of bring the world of Star Wars more to life, that people can like experience and live in it? Like Tag mentioned, there's lots of ships that are in these concepts that are parked all over the place. So I wish we could just get like the excerpt of this book that talks about specifically the Tomorrowland version of Star Wars, to kind of get a better sense of like, what was the story that they were trying to tell in this space? Because again, there's a lot of ships. So is this like a marketplace? So all the people are flocking in and parking their ships because we're in a marketplace? Like, what's the story behind the overall theme of the area?
Yeah. So it does look like that they were going to retheme like the quick service restaurant, which is now Pizza Port. It was Pizza Port and then
Pizza Planet.
Yeah, Pizza Planet now.
Pizza Planet.
But this actually looks really cool, because it looks like they took a lot of the space and really opened it up and added some big windows, or changed them to be some big windows. And they have this concept art of this like waiter droid that in the first concept was like literally floating, but they were like, wait a minute, that's not possible to do a floating droid. So they added some legs to it. Wouldn't it have been cool if like, because we talked about this with the Olaf animatronic from a couple weeks ago, that like I think they have the technology now that if they wanted to, they could have a little droid person like deliver stuff to you. That would be super cool. But I love seeing concept art because concept art is not constrained by a lot of things. And now, obviously, like you just said, he didn't want to change much of the bones of Tomorrowland with the buildings or anything, but you can still do a lot with the bones that are there, obviously, from these concept arts. But you could just see kind of like the limits to which you can push that, I think.
Yeah. He also is quoted in the book to say that he worked hard to find inspiration to make the Star Wars Tomorrowland like an actual possibility. And he shared that most of the sketches were just to kind of try and find like inspiration, trying to see, kind of see if these ideas could work. And again, he just talks about how it was challenging because he was working within what was already existing. So that's very specific to like, okay, so we have 2 restaurants and that's what we have. So what are we doing in those restaurants or whatever? So it wasn't just, blank space, blank canvas, do whatever you want. But yeah, so it's just really cool to see what could have been. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. Like, I think the hard thing is seeing this concept and possibility of what could have like revitalized and brought Tomorrowland like back to life a little bit. You still have the classics because Space Mountain is still within these concept art sketches. So Space Mountain would have still been a thing. I think that's like the big anchor.
Yeah.
Everyone can agree that is kind of the big anchor, right, for Tomorrowland. Obviously, I'm sure Star Tours would have not had to relinquish its space either. Maybe they could have just done simple re-themes for like the Astro Orbiter. You could have done something with Buzz and made that more more of a immersive Star Wars themed thing. I could see how this would have worked. And like, it's sad to see what could have been and what we have now, because it just makes me think of all the possibilities, right? If we would have, we're going to go back in time. We're going to pretend Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is not there. Think of all that space that could be something else.
Sure.
And right now, all of the space within Tomorrowland that is being underutilized. There's a lot of empty buildings, a lot of remnants and kind of skeletons of attractions from the past that are still kind of lingering in Tomorrowland. And it's just been a big question, I'm sure, for the Parks and Imagineering on what they know they need to do something. It's just what is it that they need to do and how do you do it? So it's really interesting to see. We were trying to we had this, I don't want to say problem, but we have this opportunity with Tomorrowland. What would it look like if we did this?
Yeah. A couple notable things from these sketches that are kind of interesting to me is, first of all, in my sadness, the People Mover track is missing. So they definitely would have gotten rid of the People Mover track. Although they did seem to leave kind of this like archway that was still like an entrance to the land, which I think is kind of a good like visual like end of the land. But also, if you look here, it looks like they brought some type of spinning rocket ride, perhaps, back up on top of the platform. So I would have been really excited and happy about that one. Also, looking over here, does this not look like Boba Fett's ship over here? Does this not look like it would maybe move up and down or something? That would be really cool. But we always talk about adding kinetic energy.
You know what I just realized? The Millennium Falcon's parked atop one of the buildings.
Well, you know what's funny is the Millennium Falcon's parked there, but then in this sketch, it's also parked over here on top of the restaurant. So again, none of these things were fleshed out to be things. Again, it was inspiration that he was talking about. But I do find that funny because they do have a lot of stuff. Some of these things, like the X-Wings and stuff hanging over the walkways, I think would be really cool, like visual things, right? We talk about not having enough shade. I don't know if that would provide a lot of shade, but like it would still be something hanging over.
Shaded by an X-Wing.
That would be cool. Well, how many years did it take before you realized that X-Wing was hanging in Star Trader?
I know.
But notice, no Star Trader here. It doesn't look like there's maybe some type of door or something here, but all the stuff we know of as the Star Trader is not there.
It is interesting looking at these photos. It does take a minute to be like,
what are you looking at?
What are you looking at? Because
my perception is, so this is facing the hub. This is facing into the land. This is Star Tours. That's Star Tours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and it's interesting because there's nothing on the buildings to like label the buildings what they are. So like what we're assuming is the newly rethemed and redone entrance for Star Tours. There's nothing on there that actually says Star Tours. Obviously, we can figure out what Space Mountain is because it's a very iconically shaped building. And then just kind of using our best judgment as far as landmarks go for what other things are.
It looks like in front of the Space Mountain, they've put the stage back. And because does this not look like a lightsaber battle or something happening here on an elevated stage?
It very well could be. It's one of those things again. There's so much potential in Tomorrowland. So could this have, again, dial the clock back. Could this have been something that maybe they should have pursued a little bit more? Because then you also have, if you would have done a retheme of Tomorrowland to Star Wars, I'm sorry, but I don't think the submarine or the Autopia would have necessarily made
come along
sense
with that. Yeah.
So that's another big piece of footprint that they could have done something different. I argue you still need the thing that both of those provide is kinetic energy, which is very, very important. And in the concept art, I'm not seeing a lot of obvious kinetic energy. Again, these were just kind of like, we're going to spitball some ideas and just get a general idea of maybe what this could look like.
There's a water fountain.
There is a water fountain. But
not, just to be clear, not like a drinking water fountain, a fountain.
Yeah, like a big display type thing.
Yeah.
So I do think just looking at these initial things, I do feel like it maybe is lacking a little of that kinetic energy and movement. But man, they could have even done stuff like, no, maybe that would have been weird. I'm thinking the people mover track. Maybe you can't have people on that track anymore, but could you have had, I don't know, droids or something moving up and down those corridors instead to give back that the feeling of movement? It's not as cool because you're not the person that can be up on that platform and have that unique perspective and view of the land and of Disneyland itself, but it's still movement, which is very important, which I do think is something that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is lacking, is some sort of...
A lot of these places are lacking a lot of that movement, which is unfortunate, like the newer things. I mean, you've got cool movement, so we were talking a little bit earlier about decorating Cars Land. Well, Cars Land has a lot of movement because you have all the whirly-giggy things that are in front of the hotel, right? The little motel.
Oh,
with the fountain and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got the little bubbler thing in front of the town hall or whatever. You've got the animated neon at night, for V8 Cafe, and then you've got the cars moving through, and you got Luigi's that you can see and Tomatoes stuff moving around. And so, I feel like a lot of Tomorrowland stuff is indoors, like Buzz Lightyear, the ride vehicles you can't see from outside. Star Tours, you can't see the ride vehicles from outside. Space Mountain, you can't see. You got
the Astro Orbiter, and then the subs, the monorail, if we're going to call.
But those are at the ends of the land. Those are on the periphery. Those aren't anything in the middle. And they did have the stupid thing where for a while, it spun around in the late 90s or whatever. But that stopped working after.
What was it called?
The Observatron or something like that. Because I remember on the on the monorail, it would say it comes alive every 15 minutes with lights and sounds. But yeah, I just, they need some kinetic energy.
What are your thoughts?
Do you think that they would have I feel like maybe
Observatron.
Yeah, I think maybe it would have been nice for them to actually, you know what? Is that still looks like Buzz Lightyear's ship. Actually.
You're right. That's funny. So they just parked Buzz Lightyear's ship on top of. I kind of like that because
that's hilarious.
It's I don't know if they were intending to keep it or not, but it's a fun little Easter egg, at least for the concept.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. I was like, wait a minute.
That's funny.
That's Buzz Lightyear's ship.
Mm-hmm.
Ha!
Totally is. So if you were to go back in time and you were in charge of the universe, would you have done what they did, which is create Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and have that be where Star Wars kind of comes to life in the parks? Or would you have kind of pushed forward with this? Maybe not go exactly with what this is here, but could you see a possibility of Tomorrowland? Or Star Wars and Tomorrowland? The
thing is I'm kind of torn because yes, I think that Star Wars would have fit well in Tomorrowland. However, I don't think that we would continue to call it Tomorrowland, right? It would be something different. It'd be like a Star Wars land of some sort. Yeah. But you got to be careful because it's Disneyland. And are you going to take out and rename an original land of the park? We haven't done that ever.
Yeah.
We've added lands, but we've never like taken out something.
Mhm.
Any new land that we've had, or any new name has been like Critter Country. Like we took a little bit of Frontierland to have Critter Country. We took a little bit of Adventureland and Frontierland to have New Orleans Square. We took a little bit of Fantasyland to have Toontown. Well, a little bit, as you're going into it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we haven't gotten rid of any of the original lands.
Sure.
And because fans of Disneyland are so protective of Disneyland, would that have been something that they would have been fine with? Now, maybe they would have gotten over it because of the fact that Tomorrowland has always been kind of like the sore spot in the park. And maybe it's like, well, we tried for 70 years.
Well, and I guess that's a good question, because would you, again, we're just going to be armchair Imagineers here for a few minutes, would you have made Tomorrowland 100% Star Wars, or would you have just put more Star Wars into Tomorrowland? So you would have still had other things that were there, like how we've got potentially Buzz Lightyear's Astro Blasters were still existing in this version. Would you have kept the non-Star Wars IP-related things in Tomorrowland, or would you have done a solid land like we've got Cars Land is only themed to Cars things, Batuu is only Star Wars specific things? Thankfully, the timeline's gotten a little more flexible, but or would you have kind of, because you could still call it Tomorrowland with just, if there is more Star Wars, but also other futuristic-esque things,
Well, the question you gotta ask there, I think, is, does space mean tomorrow?
Sure.
Because, like, I don't know. In the 50s, I think space meant tomorrow.
Sure.
But I don't know if today space means tomorrow. I mean, we haven't...
sure what the definition of tomorrow is.
Yeah.
Like, there's a very clear definition of Tomorrowland in the future in, like, the 50s.
Yeah.
And I don't think we have that same clear definition. In fact, I think most people revert back to what that, like, futuristic thought process of, like, the mid-century was.
Yeah.
We're reverting back to, like, think of, like, the Jetsons and, like, that kind of stuff. Because none of that kind of came to fruition. We don't live in the clouds like the Jetsons. Or
we don't have robots yet. We don't have flying cars. Yeah. We don't have spaceships. We can't go out. Yeah. I think they wanted to have a land that was all Star Wars. I think that it would have solved some of the weird problems that people have right now with the park, which is like, well, Star Tours should be in Galaxy's Edge if that's where you're going to put Star Wars stuff. Like, you don't have... So, like, for instance, in California Adventure, we have Cars Land. Well, there's no Cars representation in Pixar Pier.
Outside of Cars
Land.
Land.
Because it's in Cars Land. So, I feel like I would have probably... Now, he was constrained with not being able to get rid of any buildings. I would say you have to get rid of some buildings. That you could keep Space Mountain, but maybe turn it into Hyperspace Mountain, and that just would be the version of it now, right? Because then it'd be themed to Star Wars. I think that you would get rid of the subs and put in, like, maybe you would have put Rise of the Resistance where the subs are, let's say. And then you could have done, like, you could have done something along the lines of Smuggler's Run in the Buzz Lightyear, in that side of the building, because there's a lot of space there you could have done something slightly different with. But then you would have had to do stuff with the monorail. What would have happened with Autopia? Like, would you have...
I think Autopia would have had to have gone when you took out the subs.
Yeah. Now, what you could do is you could turn the Autopia, and this is an idea I've been pitching for a long time, is if you put that elevated, and let's say instead of cars, they were like land speeders or something, you could fit that theme. And if you were like elevated or something, it could feel like you're flying around or something. Like, that could be interesting.
That could have been like the forests of Endor back there, and you could have been zipping around in your little speeders.
There you go. See? You got some ideas. So they could have done something like that. That would have made a nice, like, you could have done like a forested area over there, and I think people would really appreciate that.
That would have been a good transition back over to the Matterhorn, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Look at that. We're on to something.
See, there we go. We fixed all the problems, Disney. You can checks in the mail, right?
But then, see, I don't know. This is maybe just my wishful thinking, because poor Disneyland is so landlocked. So space is like
premium.
And I just think, okay, well, what if you could have then, because then that would have opened up I think it's 14 acres or something, that Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is. you could have used that. Like, that could have been something else. That could have been a villain's land or some
That's
other
true.
something. Like, you could have, that space could have been dedicated to something else, but you still would have gotten the Star Wars representation better represented in the parks.
Okay, so I take back what I said, because I just looked at the
Yeah,
show
your
building
rise
size
buildings.
for Smuggler's Run,
Yeah.
and that is way too big for this. However, you could
just
have
do something.
you could have put it with you could have taken out the pizza port and the lodge bay or whatever they call it now, that has the skyline terrace or whatever. You could have done something there. You could have reconfigured this to kind of be over there. Plus, look at all the space Autopia's taking up. Like, you could have put a whole thing back here.
Forest of Endor.
I will say, when I think of, in my mind, I don't know if I've ever told you
Yeah,
this.
do you see this? Look at your subs. Your subs definitely would have.
In my
needed more
mind,
space then.
Tomorrowland is not in this configuration from space. In my mind, this, as you come in and go towards where the People Mover platform used to be, is like this. In my mind, it's angled down, and this
Instead
is like
of just
more
straight
yeah,
up.
I don't
Interesting.
know why my brain always interprets it that way, because when I think of the subs, I feel like the subs are like here.
Mhm.
Like, and that's not. So sometimes I look at Tomorrowland and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's not how it's laid out. Because if you
Yeah.
were to ask me to draw a map of Disneyland, I would draw it the way I just described
Yeah.
it, where it's angling down, and you'd be like, that is not what it looks like.
It is always, I mean, this is something, right, newer that we couldn't always do. But, like, just taking the time to look at Google Map, Google Earth, and kind of have that satellite bird's eye view of the park to kind of really get a good look at how things are situated, how big different show buildings are than what you think they are, and all
Mhm.
sorts of stuff. It's just wild.
Well, look how
Absolutely wild.
compact, really,
Yeah.
Thunder Mountain is.
Mhm.
That's really small for like a
Yeah.
roller coaster track,
And it
actually.
seems like it's quite, it's a very long, fun, thrilling ride, but it's in a very tight little space there.
This whole this whole walkway into Galaxy's Edge, in my mind, this part of this walkway is this way. Wow, my spatial awareness of where things actually are is all types of
This is
skewed.
just wild too. Again, bird's eye view of
How
Galaxy's
big
Edge
Galaxy's
is
Edge.
how big of a footprint that is. So, like, by compare, you could put like 4 Towns inside of Galaxy's Edge. It
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well, once
not
you
with
take Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
Maybe
Railway.
not with the show building. So with the show building, like 2 Towns.
Do you know what's wild? Look
Maybe
at this.
2.5
I know we've
Towns.
gotten off topic like we always do. Look at the show building for It's a Small World. Now,
Versus-
when you're in It's a Small World, does it not feel like it's a huge
It
building?
does.
And then look at how big Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is.
Mhm.
It's like at least double the size of It's a Small
Now-
World.
Okay, so I will say part of Mickey and Minnie's does also hold the queue.
Well, the queue is you go in here and you're zipping through. Oh yeah, because this is part of the queue.
Mhm.
So the
part of
ride
that-
itself
yeah,
is
so
here.
part of that is the queue, whereas Small World's queue is exterior.
Yeah, but still,
And the load and unload's all exterior too.
still.
I know. No, yes. No, you're right. Still. Same thing though, like when you think about
Mansion's
Mansion
massive.
and look at like how big that feels and then compare that to, well, look, it's there. Indy,
Indiana Jones.
you know?
They're pretty
wild.
comparable, actually. Is this Pirates? Yeah, this has got to be the Pirates show building.
Oh yeah. That's Pirates.
Again, I thought that would have been like over weird
And there's Indy.
craziness. One of these times we should, I don't know. I love looking at satellite views. We should talk about something with satellite views sometime. But yeah, well, I mean, what would you do with the whole question back
You
to
know
you?
what? I'm going to be probably a little controversial. I think they should have gone with it. I think they should have leaned into transforming Tomorrowland into where Star Wars was going to live and be represented in the parks, and not have it fully take over Tomorrowland, because
So
I
like
think
Buzz would still be there?
you could still have, but like have just Tomorrowland just be generically themed to like space kind of things, or just like
Spaceland.
space and future. So no, like kind of back to the original roots of Tomorrowland, where that's what it was like the future and space. So you could still have space, maybe kind of figure out what you're going to use as your future. So that could be simple things like bringing the Autopia much more up to date. It's not future anymore because it's present, electric cars. Or you could figure out like what's the thing what's past where we are with electric cars. What would the next evolution be, and kind of update the Autopia to that. I don't know, like or maybe you could think about it with like it being different worlds, because I'm trying to figure out how you make the subs still make sense and kind of fit in that overall theme. So it could just be like about exploration of different worlds. So you've got the exploration of space, the exploration of the ocean.
Oh,
and like have that kind of be how it's tied in the exploration of different places.
That kind of sounds like that front part of Epcot where they were doing like because they had like Future World and stuff where it was like all that, because they had like the seas and like land and a little bit different. So you
can kind of have your theme of tomorrow be exploration. And then, because again, I just lament the loss of all of that space that could be used for other things. I'm not knocking Star Wars Galaxy's Edge by any means, because I think the attractions that are back there are pretty dang phenomenal. Especially Rise is just really, really cool. I love the food back there. There's a lot of things that I really enjoy about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So it's not that at all. If that never existed and we had a do-over, how would you do it? Would you still do it the same way, or would you maybe try and do it a little bit differently? I almost kind of want to do it a little differently, probably because my heart is just so sad that Tomorrowland just really needs something to like kind of revitalize it. And we've been waiting patiently as to what that is. And I get it. It's a big ask. It's a tough ask. And once they do it, they're committed, because they're not going to do it and go, whoops, maybe not that, and we're going to do it over again. That's not going to happen, right? So it's just, it's tough. I do not envy those folks that have to make these decisions.
Do you think that, we said this last time, do you think this year at the expo
I'm not getting my hopes up? I am not getting my hopes up. The other thing, too, that I've decided with what we've come to learn with all of the announcements at D23 Expos is they're announcing stuff too early. Like, I feel like Portos could have been announced.
People wouldn't have been so
year.
Freakishly upset about it if they would have.
And even the Coco ride is when it, like, we don't really have a firm timeline of when that's going to begin and start. Same thing with Avatar, which those were just done, recently. And finally, we're getting movement on the Avengers Campus stuff. So I just feel like I want them to wait a little bit. I want things to be a little bit more solid, and it like happening the next year for when we for these announcements. I want these things to have been started before we get to the next D23. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
I just feel like
I'm just glad they announced stuff and we're actually building stuff right now, because so many I feel like in the past, and I've said this on the show before, is Disney announces a bunch of stuff. Well, sorry, let me step back. Some financial thing happens, and then like the pandemic, and then they wait forever, and then finally they're like, oh, we're comfortable enough to announce stuff. And then they announce stuff, and then some other economic thing happens, and then they don't end up doing it. Because that happened with when the economic downturn happened in 2008-9, they had some stuff planned and they canceled that. Then they had stuff planned and then COVID happened. So it's like,
I just feel so sad for Epcot, because man, I tell you that
would have been so cool. Well, the viewing platform thing would have been so cool.
Yeah, the platform thing would have been really, really cool.
Yeah,
the
Mary Poppins
ride would have been really, really cool.
Did you see what was leaked about that? There was basically like a teacups but indoor ride.
Oh, no, I didn't.
You didn't see that? I'm sorry. Pretend that I didn't say that to you so you can keep this idea of a Mary Poppins ride in your dreams.
In whatever it is in my imagination. Unsullied
from... You didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Well, I know what we're doing after we're done.
I'll have to show that.
Up.
I'll have to show that to you.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
So I kind of said what we're armchair Imagineering, what I could have maybe voted to do for the land that is now currently Batu, if Batu didn't
like
exist,
do something different with it?
What would you do? What would you build back there?
That's tough. I think that Disney has made so many good lands. Okay, I know you hate this, but they've done so many good lands in other parks around the world that, like, I think the stuff that it's not big enough for this, but the stuff they're doing in Paris to transform the Studios Park into a Disney Adventure World or whatever they're calling it. Weird name, but whatever. Their area that's around this lagoon and like their lagoon show that's going to have water and drones and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And they're going to have, I just saw this thing that they're going to have in this drone show. They're going to have like projections on the drones or something weird like that. I'm like, what? And then they have like an Arendelle and they have a Zootopia area. Like, all of these places, all these lands that they're building, people really enjoy. They've done a really nice job. The other thing that's kind of weird to me is like they've completed the lands, like they've taken photos of it.
Yeah.
They look ready to go, but it's not open until March. And I'm like, what are you doing for months that they're sitting there done? But I think doing something like that, like having maybe a Villains Land that Disney World is getting, but maybe not do Villains Land because keep it in the U.S., right? But maybe we could bring over like a Frozen Land or a Zootopia Land because we don't have any of that here yet.
See, I like the thought of like a more generic land, like a Villains Land, because then
I mean, I generally like that. Yes,
there's a bunch of different things you could do with that. It would make sense for villains from all stories could exist in that area. And I also like the idea of it's outside the berm, so it's like they were invited to the party but not.
You know what you could do that'd be really interesting? So, you know how in Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack walks into the forest and then there's all the doors to the different holidays? What if you had a princess land and it's kind of this weird vortex area where you've got like all the princesses like lands, but like in one land, and it's all the princesses are there?
You could.
Because people love princesses. Could do a lot of cool meet and greets. I don't know what type of attractions necessarily you put there. But that was just something like unique that they haven't done yet. Because if you're going to do a Villains Land, and the princes aren't that interesting to do anything with, unfortunately. I'm trying to think like what else. Yeah, because all the other generic stuff we've got Pixar Pier for like Pixar stuff. We have Avengers Campus for Marvel stuff. We have Galaxy's Edge for Star Wars stuff.
Or is there a generic type of land that you can think of that would maybe lend to multiple people being able to exist in it?
Maybe have some type of, well, we kind of already have that with Avengers Campus, but you could have like a metropolis area that has like the superheroes and maybe you have like the Zootopia kind of stuff, like a city land.
And then Monsters Inc. could also reside there.
That's true.
Look at that. Okay, so maybe we've decided that.
Or maybe you put all the crazy roller coasters in an area and you call it like Thrill Land or something, and like
Super
all the teenagers.
Fun Land. Oh wait, wrong studio.
you could put all the teenagers that want like all the crazy thrills, because you have Fantasyland for the little kids. Why not have some crazy barf your guts out like roller coaster area that they just build a tunnel over to Knott's Berry Park. There you go.
Get some more extreme rides. I don't know.
Like, I don't know. This is why I'm not an Imagineer, I guess.
I think the villains, I still...
So you're fine copying a Villains Land from Magic Kingdom? No, I'm not saying
copying a Villains Land. This would have predated the Villains Land over there. Because, right, this is pre-Galaxy's Edge.
I thought you were armchair Imagineering now.
No, pre-Galaxy's Edge. So this would have been back then. And we don't even know what that Villains Land is going to be necessarily. You could have Villains Lands in both parks, but they could have different attractions and different rides and have different villains residing in them. Kind of like how Avengers Campus is around, there's different quote-unquote campuses around the world, but they're different.
Sure. Yeah. How about like, this is a little off topic, but like we're talking about utilizing space in the park. I think that they could, if they got really creative, they could do something really cool on Tom Sawyer Island.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to put some type of crazy attraction there that everybody wants to go to, but I think you'd have to end up having something like, I feel like maybe instead of trying to do the rafts over there, which is very limiting, that they could do some type of like, either like a drawbridge kind of thing, so the boats can still get around, or like a train bridge that like does that little turn.
Sure.
Like, so you could still let people on and off. And I know it's not Tomorrowland, but like, I'd like to see them do something there too. I think Tomorrowland needs the help, but then I also think that like Tom Sawyer Island is an underutilized part of the park as well. If you're talking
Would you
about,
bring back the fishing?
would anybody do that though?
So for those of you that may not know, you used to be able to
They put fish in the rivers. Yeah.
You used to be able to fish in the rivers of America, and you could if you caught a fish, you could take it home with you. So there's that.
I mean, that'd be
What
like
a
$30
unique
now from Disney. They'd be like $30 if you catch a fish, you want to take it home. I don't know what I would put there, but I want them to do something cool. Now, what I really wish, if we could go back and redo some things, I would do like they did in Paris, and I would put Big Thunder in the island. Because that is
would you have kept Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland then?
I think that you could.
Because I feel like that's a space.
I think in today's day and age, you could have a really cool Mine Train through Nature's Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think you could make it you could make it like Casey Jr. level, like thrill.
Sure, yeah.
But have it be really cool and like with cool animatronics and like maybe you have like, I don't know, maybe you have like some realistic things that happen. Like maybe part of it you're going in like there's a rock slide that you're getting away from or something. Like it could still be kind of thrilling. You could go through an area that's like snowy, right? And you could have like a little avalanche. I'm talking about
You
all
like,
this.
yeah, you like things falling.
But I just mean like that would make it like thrilling because like what else are you gonna do? Like you could have a bear jump out at you, or you could have like I don't know, like there's lots of things you could do.
Cool. You don't have to have scary.
I just think that you need something that people are going to be like surprised by. Because I think if you just have a bunch of like nature scenes, I think today's audience isn't as interested in that as they were back in the day.
Yeah, unless you did it somehow kind of like make those scenes like they do have you have to somehow make it timeless, like Haunted Mansion, like Pirates, like the Jungle Cruise, and kind of have these like iconic little scenes or like
that's fair.
That kind of then tell the story of what's of the area, you know. So I don't know. I think it would have to be mostly desert though, because right, you're in Frontierland. It's like desert and woods. But anyways. Oh,
they could do. This is brilliant. Okay. So in Soarin', when you're in when you go to that like area, there's hot air balloons. Mm-hmm. They should do like an elevated ride that's like a hot air balloon, and you could go around or over the rivers of America. That would be cool. And like the loading station stuff could be on Tom Sawyer Island. That's where you could get that use. And then it could like take off. It's almost like the Skyway in a way, where it could like take off and like maybe it goes over like some stuff around there or whatever, and then comes back. That would be really cool.
That would be neat.
They'll never do it, but that would be really cool. I'm excited to see this Monsters, Inc. attraction in Florida because the show building for this looks massive. Mm-hmm. So I can't wait to see what that looks like. Anyway, we're not talking about Star Wars and Tomorrowland anymore, but Tomorrowland needs some help. I just don't know what realistically. I hope I shouldn't get my hopes up, but I hope the D23 will announce something with Tomorrowland. Even if they, you know what I'd be happy with? I'd be happy if Josh Tomorrow came out and said, "We've heard you. We are actively looking at Tomorrowland, but we don't have anything to announce today." Yeah. I'd be happy with that. It's like, good, it's coming at some point. Yeah. And actually, I'd probably be happier without specifics, because then, like, you know, there's like people either love it or hate it. Then there's going to be all that drama. Mm-hmm. But if they just say, like, we're working on it, like, people will be like, something's coming. And then there can be a lot of speculation and excitement.
I'm hoping for like a slide of Tomorrowland to come up and everyone gets excited. And he's just going to say, "We know, we're still working."
I can see him like, how did that get in here? Like, everybody like freaks out.
Not ready yet.
Oops. Or, oh man, that would be really screwy. Put like one of these like real vague concept arts of Tomorrowland, but just be like, "Oh, how'd that get in here?" And like move to the next one. And everybody's like, "What was that?"
Go back.
But don't explain anything. Dude, if I was Josh Tomorrow.
It's on there, and he goes, "Not yet."
But then people would be thinking that he was going to talk about it later in the presentation. That it never comes, and we'd be all,
that'd be you.
They razzle dazzled us again.
That'd be you. With how you read the teleprompter.
They
that
kept
1 year.
saying things that sounded like a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and like space and the thing, and I'm like, it's coming.
And
you did me dirty, Josh. You did me dirty.
It never came.
You did me dirty.
Well, if you have some time, these books are available for sale if you
They're
really
pricey,
want to
though.
like dive into the world of cinematic universes and Star Wars and all the other wonderful things that Doug did in his career. They're available. We found them on. Yeah, they are expensive, but they look large and gorgeous. They are art books. So think of like the table, like coffee table, mostly photos of different things throughout his time and his career, and then little blurps with explanation of what's going on. But if this is something you're interested in, definitely check it out. At the very least, please check the link in our show notes so you can check out all of the really interesting concepts of what Star Wars and Tomorrowland could have looked like. See if it gets your juices flowing, and if you become an armchair Imagineer like Tag and I did for this, that then somehow got distracted and we started redoing other parts of the park too, not just Tomorrowland and Batuu. It's very catching, to think about what could be. Which when Disney fans sit and talk like that and like kind of like start spitballing ideas, it makes me so much want to be a fly on the wall when the Imagineers are like having these discussions, because how do you pick? How do you figure out what idea is the right idea to go with? Because I'm sure there's hundreds of thousands of ideas of what they could do, but how do you pick? Anyway, so if you're interested, like I said, at the very least, check out the link in the show notes to the
I'm
original
tempted to buy the Kindle,
article.
because the Kindle's only $20. The hardcover, it's a beautiful 2-volume set, so you are getting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's 800 pages for $210.
Yeah. It was just released at the beginning of December too, so this is a brand new book, or brand new books. So anyways, very least, check out the link in the show notes. Let us know your thoughts on what you would do. Would you have still created Batuu? Would you have tried to do something with Star Wars and Tomorrowland and had the space for Batuu as a blank canvas? And if so, what would you have painted or filled that canvas with if you could have? Email, write us on social media. You know how to get a hold of us. We're curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and go into a spiral like we did. Well, just a friendly reminder that we will be off the next couple of weeks, a little more this year with how the dates fell, to enjoy the holiday season. We will have a special interview episode that drops the week of New Year's, but we will be back with a brand new episode of DL Weekly in 2026.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, Chef. My name Raymond, and I hope them answers are bigger and better than this here back porch I got attached to me. Don't you know, Evangeline and I wish y'all the best of luck.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, where we are going to find out the answers to tonight's questions and see how well Tag and Teresa, and of course how you, the listeners, did. Tag, Teresa, how you feeling?
I don't know, I feel
I'm
very good.
So curious about this because we're either very close or very, very far away, because we kind of stuck to just 2 decades, and really we stuck to not even a 10-year span of those of the decades. So we didn't vary our answer.
No.
We think everything happened in the beginning.
And you thought everything happened in one little area of Main Street.
That too.
That's true.
Yeah. So
Nothing says Christmas at Disneyland like Main Street.
No.
Did you just remember something?
Didn't they call it was Holiday Hill, the place that
You think there's a parade on Holiday Hill?
something. I bet you something.
Okay, well, let's
Where
get
did-
the
Where
answers.
did they get the nickname, you know?
I don't know.
well, we can find out together, shall we?
Yes.
All right. Well, again, huge thank you to Donna S. Thank you for sending in awesome questions, and thank you for your patience as we've waited a long time to get around to being able to ask these. So all of these questions tonight either submitted by or inspired by listener Donna S. Your first question. While not a standalone event, there was a holiday parade in 1955. In what part of the park was this parade? Tag said Town Square, Main Street, the Hub, that-ish, area-ish. And Teresa said Main Street, after she waffled from Town Square. The correct answer that I was looking for was the Mickey Mouse Club Circus.
Oh, which, do you know where that was? Holidayland.
Yeah, but not Holiday Hill.
No, but it was in Holidayland.
Holiday
Like another thing called a holiday.
Yeah.
Your second question tonight. What year was the first official Christmas parade in Disneyland, and what was this parade's name? So we're no longer in the Mickey Mouse Club Circus. This is the official, the Christmas parade in Disneyland. Tag said it was in 1957. Teresa agreed it was 1957. Tag said that it was Christmas in Disneyland, and Teresa said Walt's Christmas Parade. The correct answer that I was looking for, the year, was 1957.
Whew.
And
Half a point.
the name of the parade was Christmas in Many Lands.
Oh, it was 2/3 of half the way there.
Well, Disneyland is many lands.
That's true.
Well, and this was actually a parade of different nations showcasing their traditions of
Look at that.
how they celebrate the holidays.
It's like the OG Small World holiday.
It was pre-Small World. It was just showing
Small
off.
World holiday parade.
or
Mhm.
like at Epcot, they've got the around the world
There you go.
Christmas
Yeah.
telling story. Yeah.
Yep,
Anyway.
yep.
Hey, we 57.
Yeah,
We're in the right decade.
you were the exact right year. Perfect.
Yeah.
Your third question tonight. What year did the Christmas Carolers first perform at Disneyland?
Come on, 1950s.
Tag said 1958. Teresa said 1955. The correct answer is in the 1950s.
Woo!
And it's 55.
Teresa, good job.
Starting with Dickens-style carolers singing throughout the park, now you can still find carolers throughout the Disney properties, including the Beverly Bells and the Good Time Carolers.
Look at that.
And your fourth and final regular round question tonight. Where were the first Christmas trees placed in Disneyland? Tag says in the moat. And Teresa says Town Square and the castle. Kind of going along with the moat idea. The correct answer that I was looking for was the Central Plaza, now known as the Hub.
Oh.
It was one very simple tree with not many decorations because they were a little cash-strapped that first winter of 55.
Oh, so it was right.
So,
right at
yeah,
the beginning.
I didn't say it as my answer, but I did say that that'd be a great place for a Christmas tree.
Well, but then
and
we're
it
like,
was.
oh no, because then we'd block out the.
But it was a small, simple
Yep,
tree,
we would
so it did not
out
block the castle.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as grandiose as they do them now. It was just kind of a, hey, we got to do something, but we don't really quite have the funds at the moment.
Well, that makes sense.
Yep.
Cool.
And your bonus question. Chosen by Walt Disney himself for its festive impact, the iconic flocked Christmas tree on Main Street first appeared in what year? I gave you the hint that it was in the 60s. Tag said 1960, which isn't really in the 60s. It starts
He's-
the
he's-
60s. And Teresa said 1962. The correct answer that I was looking for was 1965.
Oh. Firmly in the 60s.
Yes, right
Firmly.
smack in the middle of the 60s. I couldn't have given you a better hint.
Crazy. So for the first 9 years the park was open, they didn't have a cool big flocked Christmas tree.
Nope, they just kind of spread them around a bit more. And a little smaller. Yep.
Kind of makes sense, though.
Well, listeners, how did you do listening at home? How do you feel about how Tag and Teresa did? Do you have some awesome questions that are going to really stump them next time? If you do, please feel free to send those in to us at dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back in the new year with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
A special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast, Andy Mack for all the wonderful character transitions, and to James D for supporting at the Club 33 level.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, Thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.
Happy holidays! Want to give your host a gift? Consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show this holiday season. It really helps the show grow. From all of us at Believe, have a Merry Christmas, everyone, and a happy holiday. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.